The Misadventures of the Blue Wizards Once Discovered. Chapter 1. The Discovery of the Resistors. The Blue Wizards, Alatar and Pallando, had set out for the east of Middle-earth at the behest of the Valar. Their mission was to counter Sauron's influence in those distant lands, but after decades of working in the shadows, their movements had been detected by the Dark Lord's spies. The pursuit had taken them further and further east, beyond the lands known to the men of the West, until they were forced into the mysterious Red Mountains. The dim light of dawn filtered through the cracks of a cavern hidden deep within those mountains. The two wizards, their blue robes torn and stained by their journey, entered the darkness.
Do you hear that, brother? Footsteps.
And they're not orcs. Too light, too precise.
Torches suddenly lit up surrounding them. Dozens of warriors emerged from the shadows, clad in armor of an unknown metal that reflected the light in iridescent hues.
The Blue Wizards, we finally found you.
Were you expecting us?
For generations, I am Kashara, leader of the Children of the Dawn. We have resisted the darkness since the fall of the Great Lamps.
The lamps of the Valar, impossible. They were destroyed.
Follow me. I will show you something that will change your understanding of history.
The woman led them through winding tunnels to a circular chamber. In its center, on a crystal pedestal, shone a fragment of pure light.
I hold the Vanar.
A fragment of Iluin, the Lamp of the North. Our ancestors recovered it before Melkor destroyed everything.
The energy that emanates from it is older than Middle-earth itself.
And he's not the only one. We have a network of spies and warriors throughout the East. We have located more fragments.
Our mission to the east, we thought we had failed.
You have not failed. You have arrived at just the right time. Our warriors need masters in the arcane arts.
How many of you are there?
Thousands, hidden in underground cities like this one. We've been preparing for centuries, waiting for the right moment.
Then let us join forces. We will teach you the secrets of ancient magic.
And you will show us how you have survived so long under the nose of Sauron.
There is something else you must see. Bring the Chosen One.
A group of young warriors entered the room, each bearing a luminescent mark on their forehead.
We've been preparing them. They are especially sensitive to the magic of the lamps.
I can feel his potential with proper training.
They might become something that even Sauron has not foreseen.
So we have an agreement.
More than an agreement. This is the beginning of a new era for the East.
The wizards extended their staffs, and the lamp fragment pulsed with a brighter light, as if responding to their presence.
Welcome to the Resistance, Blue Wizards. The real battle is about to begin.
Chapter 2. The Resistance Network.
The eastern lands are more corrupted than we imagined. The rot extends to the very roots of the trees.
The fragments of the lamps, have you noticed how they react to the darkness, as if they wanted to devour it?
Could we use that power to purify our lands?
Not only could we, but we must. I have been studying the energy patterns. Corruption leaves a mark, like a black web that can be unraveled.
Alatar's fingers traced circles on the map, stopping at each marked city-state.
While you've been busy purifying, I've discovered something fascinating about the ancient paths of power. The ley lines the elves used are still active beneath the surface.
Ley lines? You mean the paths mentioned in ancient legends?
Exactly, and with the fragments of the lamps as anchors, we could create a network of portals, invisible to the eye of Sauron.
Kashara's eyes.
We would have to move with extreme caution. Each liberated city must become a node in the network.
My spies report that the city of Khand is on the verge of rebellion. We could start there.
Khand, the city of merchants, strategically perfect.
The three of them leaned over the map, where a mark pointed to the ancient walled city.
We'll need to create a purification ritual that won't draw attention. Subtlety will be our best ally.
The fragments respond to ancient music. What if we combine the songs of power with purification rituals?
My warriors can infiltrate the city dressed as merchants. No one suspects another caravan.
The walls of Khand loomed before the caravan. The dust of the road hid the blue robes of the Astari beneath merchant cloaks.
Halt, what goods do you bring?
Silks from the Red Mountains and spices from the Far East. We also have remedies for the Black Plague that ravages your fields.
The gods exchanged worried glances. The corruption had brought diseases that no local healer could cure.
Come in, but we'll be watching you.
In the cellars of the abandoned temple, Alatar unfolded the fragment of the lamp. Its light pulsed to the rhythm of ancient songs.
The land is more poisoned than I thought. The roots have absorbed centuries of evil.
Look how the ley lines converge here. This temple was built on a nexus of power.
Alatar's chants echoed from the ancient stones. The shard glowed with blinding intensity.
The crops! Look at the crops!
Through the temple windows, they watched as a wave of blue light spread across the fields. The withered plants stood up, regaining their greenness.
It's time. While the land is purified, I will establish the first node.
His hands danced across the ground, tracing runes that glowed with their own light. The fragment responded, creating an arc of pure energy.
Lady, the villagers are taking to the streets. They speak of a miracle in the fields. Perfect. Let our agents spread the word that the ancient gods have answered their prayers.
Over the next few moons, the network expanded. Each liberated city became a new node, connected by Pallando's invisible portals.
Have you heard? They say the land is healing. The fields of Cand yield twice as much harvest.
In Rune too, and new roads have appeared, roads that take you further than they should.
Deep within a temple in the Red Mountains, Alatar perfected his ritual.
Each purification teaches us more. The earth remembers its original state. It just needs a catalyst.
And each new portal strengthens the network. The fragments resonate with each other, creating a natural shield against the eye of Sauron.
The enemy spies are baffled. They can't explain how we move so fast.
A messenger burst into the room, panting.
The Black Riders, they're heading towards the city of Rune. They have detected something.
Impossible. The rituals are perfectly camouflaged.
It's not that, it's the absence that they've noticed. Where there was once corruption, there's now emptiness.
Then the time has come to show them that the East no longer belongs to them.
The three looked at each other, aware that the true battle was about to begin. The network of resistance, woven with ancient magic and renewed hope, was preparing for its first real test.
Let them come. We will show them the power of the purified lands.
And when you cross our portals, you will understand that your dominion over these lands has ended.
The lamp fragment pulsed loudly, as if responding to his determination. In the distance, war horns began to sound. Final chapter, the price of power. The shards of the ancient lance of the Vala glittered upon the black stone altar, their blue sparkles dancing against the walls of the ritual chamber. In the distance, war horns rang ever closer.
The portals are aligned. Each focal point responds with the intended intensity. Do you feel the vibrations in the air?
Sauron's forces are advancing towards us from all directions, just as we planned. Spies confirm that they are bringing trolls from the mountains.
Their blue robes fluttered without any wind, as ancient power flowed through the network of portals. At their side, Morith, the most gifted of their eastern apprentices, and leader of the mystic warriors they had trained for decades, watched his master's every move intently.
Do you remember what Aloran told us before we left for the east? His words make more sense now than ever.
That our power came from Valinor, and that every act of magic took us further from the undying lands. I never imagined it would come to this.
Then let us make this last act worthwhile. The peoples of the East have suffered too long under the yoke of darkness.
The fragments began to levitate, giving off cascades of light that dyed the walls of the chamber.
Notice how the barrier is already starting to form. Look at the horizon. The ley lines converge exactly where we calculated. Sauron's armies are crossing the exact points. His generals are as predictable as ever.
A blue glow bathed the entire room. The air crackled with ancient energy.
Masters, scouts report that Eastern forces have crossed the final portal.
It's time. Morith, give the signal to our allies. Have them take refuge behind the agreed lines.
The ancient magic flows stronger than ever. Do you feel the power of the lamps resonating with the portals?
The voices of both Istari rose in an ancient tongue, older than Arda itself. The air vibrated with each syllable spoken.
The Haradrim from the east have formed a defensive perimeter.
By the power bestowed upon us in the halls of Mandos.
By the light of the primordial lamps that illuminated Arda.
A rumble shook the foundations of the earth. The fragments of the lamps exploded in a blinding flash that pierced the clouds.
My hands, they are losing their light. The price is greater than we imagine.
Our power is fading, but look, it's working.
A shock wave of pure energy swept across the entire eastern land, causing mountains and valleys alike to tremble.
The enemy armies, they're fading away.
The parallel dimension is absorbing them. Years of preparation for this moment.
Each portal acts as an anchor. The network is complete.
Her hair, once bright blue like the summer sky, turned grey in a matter of seconds.
I feel different. Like a part of me is left behind.
The barrier, look, it's forming, more magnificent than we imagined in our plans.
A wall of blue light rose as far as the eye could see, dividing the lands of the east. Its glow rivaled the dawn.
Masters, the Watchers report that Sauron's remaining troops on this side are in complete disarray.
I can no longer feel the connection to Ballanor. It is as if a veil has fallen between us and the West.
We have sacrificed her for something greater. Future generations will live free because of this.
Their staves, once brimming with magical power, now emitted only a faint glow, like the last embers of a bonfire.
The elders of the eastern tribes request your presence in the sacred circle.
Do you think Sauron will understand the magnitude of what we have done here?
You will understand that you have lost half of your eastern forces, and that these lands no longer belong to you, but the true extent of our sacrifice.
A sun began to rise over the horizon, illuminating the divided east, one half protected by a magical barrier, the other plunged into shadows.
The wise say that ancient magic has never manifested itself like this since the days of the lamps.
We are almost mortal now. I can feel the weight of the years like never before.
But we retain our wisdom and enough magic to guide these people.
Enough to protect what we have achieved, to ensure that this sacrifice is not in vain.
A group of elders from the eastern tribes approached reverently, their faces marked with amazement.
Do you think that someday people in the West will know what we did here? That they will understand why we abandoned our original mission for this cause?
Maybe not, but when push comes to shove,
Sauron's weakness in the East.
It will be his downfall. And even if we won't be there to see it, we will have contributed to his downfall.
The two ancient Istari watched the dawn of a new era for the eastern lands, their once deep blue robes fading to a dull grey, the last reminder of their sacrifice. The magical barrier pulsed with a life of its own, an eternal testament to the day two mages gave up their immortality for the freedom of the peoples of the East.